It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Renegade. I'm Jason Minix as our AA Best Bail Bonds. Radio Row coverage continues with very familiar face and voice around the NFL and Super Bowl week, Trey Wingo. Trey, making the rounds again on Radio Row. How's the day been?
It's good so far, guys. Always good to be on in San Antonio. My dad's from San Antonio, went to Thomas Jefferson High School back in the day, spent a lot of summers down in San Antonio. So good to be with you guys.
Jefferson High School, man. My dad went to Jefferson High School, man. You know, a lot of famous people come out of there, obviously.
Yeah, our two dads.
Exactly,
clearly.
right.
They're awesome.
And who else do you got? Tommy Nobis?
Tommy Nobis, not a bad player.
Yeah.
Hook 'em horns and also the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. You think about the game this week, and from your perspective, everything that you do from the national level, the Chiefs fatigue.
Yeah.
I want to see history.
Thank you.
I want to see history, and I hate the Eagles, but I want to see history.
Also, thank you.
Yeah.
This is on to Philadelphia. Look, I'm with you. Like, people always say they want to see greatness until they see it all the time, and then they get sick of it. The other thing is, like, in the NCAA tournament, I love the upsets. Until all the upsets are George Mason in the Final Four, no one watches. Let's just be honest about it, okay? You want to see the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the Kentuckys in the Final Four. So if you don't want to see a team with the first chance at a repeat or three-peat in Super Bowl history, I don't know what to tell you. This team has already done things that no team has ever done before. They're the first back-to-back champion that has a chance to win a third. No one else made it back to Super Bowl Sunday. The 90s Cowboys didn't do it. The Patriots didn't do it. The 49ers didn't do it. The Steelers didn't do it. The Packers of the 60s didn't do it. So we're looking at something, the Broncos of the late 90s didn't do it. We're looking at something that has a chance to have never happened before. And the other thing is, the Chiefs have been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. Okay? Patriots never did that. Nobody's ever done that. The Steelers went to 4 and 6 and won all 4. They've been to 5 of the last 6, and they didn't have a brain fart at the end of the half of the 2021 AFC Championship game when they threw it to Tyreek Hill instead of kicking a field goal. They have probably gone to 6 straight Super Bowls. It's an insane thing. And if they win on Sunday, I think you can make an argument this is the best dynastic run in the history of the game. And in the Super Bowl there. And let me explain that, because people say, the Patriots, 2000 to 2019. That was really 2 separate dynasties, okay? The early Patriots from Super Bowl 36 to Super Bowl 39, when they won 3 and 4 years, much like the Cowboys did first in the 90s. That was Tom Brady, Mike Vrabel, Teddy Bruschi, Richard Seymour, Clock Killen, Corey Dillon, Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy. That was that cast of characters. Then they took 10 years off where they didn't win a Super Bowl. Yeah, they got to do Super Bowl 42 and 46, but dynasties win Super Bowls. They don't just get there. No one looks at the Vikings or the Bills as a dynasty because they didn't win, all right? And then they won 49, 51, and 53, and that was Gronk, Edelman, Amendola, Stephon Gilmore, Vince Wilfork, and Tom Brady. It was a different set of characters. This Chiefs team has had the longest sustained run of Super Bowl excellence we've ever seen. And if they win on Sunday, and why would you ever bet against them at this point? I think they have the claim as the greatest dynasty in the Super Bowl era.
And I think it's great to watch that and appreciate the history. So that brings us to this. You bring up the Patriots, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Everybody wants to compare. Who's the GOAT? Who's the best? Where do you stand on that Mahomes-Brady battle?
Here's the fairest way I can put it. Like, 7 rings is, I don't think anyone's ever getting 7 rings again. If he wins today, if he wins on Sunday, maybe he'll get it. But I want to read you something, okay? This is Patrick Mahomes is 29 years old. These are the numbers from Patrick Mahomes at 29 and Tom Brady at 29. At the age of 29, Tom Brady has led his team to 70 regular season wins. Patrick Mahomes has led the Chiefs to 89. At the age of 29, Tom Brady had 12 playoff wins. Patrick Mahomes has 17. At the age of 29, Tom had been in 3 Super Bowls. Patrick is in his 5th. They both have 3 wins. Patrick has 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Tom Brady has 2. Patrick has 2 regular season MVPs. Tom Brady had none at the age of 29. I have no idea if he's going to get to 35-7. 35 would be the most playoff wins of all time by a quarterback and 7 Super Bowl rings. But he is obliterating. I mean, he is Usain Bolting the pace of Tom Brady, who is considered the greatest of all time. That's the only way I can look at it. Whatever the pace was by Brady, Mahomes has said, hold my beer.
Trey Wingo here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Renegade Fantasy Football. Everybody listening right now does some sort of fantasy.
Yeah.
Tell us about Renegade Fantasy Football.
Well, it's fantasy football the way a football game is played. Like, I'll give you an example. In the first quarter of a football game, if your starting wide receiver goes out with an injury, the team doesn't just say, oh, well, we're not going to play another wide receiver. You put in another wide receiver. The Renegade Fantasy Football app allows you to substitute for injuries during games. It just keeps you in the game. Like, if let's say, you have Jalen Hurts as your starting quarterback, and he goes out with a concussion like he did a few weeks ago. You're going to lose that game 99% of the time because your starting quarterback's no longer on the field. Well, that's not really fair. So what the Renegade Fantasy app does, it allows you to play fantasy sports the way you play a real football game. Substitute someone in for Jalen Hurts. Now, I may not get Jalen Hurts numbers, but he can keep keep your fantasy football team in the game to allow your other superstars to carry the load. It just makes all the sense in the world. Like, why should you be screwed by an injury and you have no chance at winning when in every other situation in football, let's just put another player in? And they also do something called the second chance draft. Like, I'm sure 90% of fantasy football owners this year, if they had the first pick, took Christian McCaffrey, right?
Yep.
We didn't find out until 2 days before the season he wasn't going to play the season opener, and he didn't play the first 7 weeks of the season. You're toast if you took him as your number one overall. You're done. So what the second chance draft does, it allows you halfway through the season to say, okay, we thought this was going to work out. We didn't think this rookie was going to be that good, but we were wrong, and this was an injury. Let's redraft and start over again, which allows people to stay in the championship longer. And quite frankly, that's what everybody wants. They want a chance to win. It's like having a skin in the game a little longer. It's just a more fun, realistic way to play fantasy football.
If I had that, I'd have beat him in the championship.
Yeah,
game
exactly.
This year.
Who was your injury? Who screwed you?
Well, I had David Montgomery go down late. And
he's a horrible GM. Let's just go with that.
I was in the championship game with the lowest scoring team in our league.
So you were the Chiefs of the fantasy football.
Yes, right. Yes, it's exactly. Although hopefully they win.
Yes, exactly.
When it's all said and done. Trey Wingo, always great catching up, my friend. We'll catch up soon.
Go on, man. Always good to be back in San Antonio. Absolutely. Cheers.
Thanks.